Hey, this is Jonathan Fields, host of the Good Life Project podcast. Boost Mobile reminds me of what I love, when someone reimagines what's possible. They have invested billions in building America's newest 5G network, becoming the country's fourth major carrier. They are doing things differently, offering a $25 monthly unlimited plan that never increases in price and letting you try their service risk-free for 30 days. With blazing fast 5G and plans for all the latest devices, they're changing the game. Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store or find them online at boostmobile.com. The Boost Mobile network, together with their roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds not available in all areas.
Only Boost Mobile.
Boost Mobile
We'll give you a free year of service.
Free year?
When you buy a new 5G phone.
New 5G phone?
Enough.
But I'm your hype man. When you purchase an eligible device, you get $25 off every month for 12 months with credits totaling 1 year of free service. Taxes extra for the device and service plan. Online only.
Starting a business can be overwhelming. You're juggling multiple roles: designer, marketer, logistics manager, all while bringing your vision to life. But for millions of businesses, Shopify is the ultimate partner. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. From household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. Build a stunning online store with Shopify's ready-to-use templates. Boost content with AI-powered product descriptions, page headlines, and enhanced photography. Marketing is easy with built-in tools for email and social media campaigns. Plus, Shopify simplifies everything from inventory to shipping and returns. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try. Shopify.com/try.
Just a quick heads up. This is part 2 of a 2-part story. So if you haven't listened to the first part, you'll need to go back, as I wouldn't want you to miss anything. On the morning of February 19th, 2013, maintenance worker Santiago Lopez climbed a ladder to inspect the CECIL Hotel's rooftop water tanks and found one tank's hatch open, revealing Elisa Lamb's body floating inside. Nearly 3 weeks had passed since Elisa disappeared, and her corpse was discovered purely by accident after hotel guests had spent days enduring grossly discoloured, foul-tasting water coming from their taps. Lopez immediately alerted his supervisor and called 911. Soon the rooftop was swarming with police, coroners and fire department personnel. The hotel's infamy deepened by the macabre spectacle playing out above its top floor. I'm Sarah Powell, and this is Obscurata, because some stories have no ending. Investigators noted that Elisa was found nude, her lifeless body bobbing in the tank's cold, murky water. Her clothing, the same red hoodie and black shorts seen in the elevator video, were also in the tank, submerged, along with her hotel room key and watch. Bizarrely, the clothes were coated with a sandy particulate, as if they had been tossed in after her, or perhaps dislodged from the tank's walls. The lid of the tank had been left open. Santiago Lopez confirmed he found it that way. This detail was crucial as it addressed one initial question. how Elisa could have closed a heavy metal lid over herself from inside the tank. Apparently she hadn't, which implied that either she climbed in on her own and never closed it, or someone was present and left it open. The Los Angeles County coroner conducted an autopsy on Elisa Lam on February the 21st. The initial examination proved inconclusive, pending toxicology tests. It wasn't until June, after months of analysis, that the coroner issued a full report with a determination: accidental drowning. Elisa's death, the report concluded, was not the result of homicide or suicide. It was a tragic accident, likely precipitated by a psychotic episode related to her bipolar disorder. The autopsy found no evidence of physical trauma or sexual assault on Elisa's body. Despite internet rumours, there were no signs of strangulation, no internal injuries, and the scratches and bruises on her skin were consistent with bumping into the tank's sides while floating in the water post-mortem. A rape kit was apparently done, but the results were not processed or included in the report, leaving some questions unanswered. Notably, there was a small amount of blood pooled in her anal area, which some would later point to as suspicious. But the coroner's experts explained it was likely a result of bloating and decomposition, along with a rectal prolapse, rather than evidence of assault. The toxicology reports were telling. Elisa's body contained traces of her prescription medications for bipolar and depression, but notably lower levels than expected if she'd been taking them regularly. In other words, it appeared Elisa had not been taking her full doses in the days leading up to her death, a finding consistent with her history of medication non-compliance. There were no illegal drugs in her system and only a negligible amount of alcohol. This under-medication could have led to a return of severe symptoms, delusions, hallucinations, disorganized thinking. In the coroner's view, Elisa most likely suffered a psychotic break on the night of January the 31st. Disorientated and terrified, she might have sought refuge in an unusual place, in this case, the rooftop water tank, and tragically drowned. The manner of death was officially listed as accidental, with bipolar disorder as a significant contributing factor. For the investigators who worked the case, the coroner's conclusion aligned with a plausible sequence of events. The CECIL Hotel's roof was usually off limits to guests. The door to the roof was locked and alarmed, requiring a staff key or code to open. If Elisa had tried to go through that door, an alarm would have alerted the front desk. No such alarm was reported that night. However, the hotel's fire escape could be accessed from a hallway window, and it led up to the roof with no barriers. In fact, during the search for Elisa, police bloodhounds did pick up her scent near a window on the 5th floor that opened onto a fire escape, then lost the trail. It's very likely Elisa found her way to the roof by climbing the fire escape, a treacherous route in her state of mind, but not impossible. Once on the roof, Elisa would have found herself in a dark, quiet space high above the city. perhaps still feeling pursued by whatever hallucination plagued her. The open maintenance hatch of a water tank might have looked like a hiding spot. Each tank was about 8 feet tall and propped up on concrete blocks with no fixed ladder attached. To climb one, Elisa likely had to scale the side, using the platform or pipes as footholds, or perhaps an external ladder stored nearby. It would have been difficult but not inconceivable, even in the throes of a mental break. Inside the tank, the water was over 10 feet deep. If Elisa jumped or fell in, escaping would be exceedingly hard. The smooth walls and high position of the hatch would offer little grip from the inside, especially in panic. Hypothermia in the chilly water could have impaired her quickly. Ultimately, she drowned, alone in the dark. It's a heartbreaking image of Elisa's final moments. A young woman overwhelmed by her own mind, inadvertently finding death while trying to escape her fears. Yet, even with a logical explanation on the table, many were not satisfied. The case was officially closed as an accident, but to the public, it was anything but closed. The strange circumstances, from the unsettling elevator video to the extreme step of ending up in a water tank, left a lingering sense that something was missing. Over the following months and years, a whirlwind of speculation, debate, and urban legend sprang up around Elisa Lam's death. Was it really just a freak accident stemming from mental illness? Or was there more to the story that authorities overlooked or even covered up? From police reports to paranormal investigations, everyone seemed to have a theory. Elisa Lam's name would soon become a fixture on true crime forums and YouTube mysteries, ensuring her story did not rest in peace with her. The official explanation for Elisa Lam's death, that she accidentally drowned during a mental health crisis, is just one of many theories that have been proposed. Armchair detectives and conspiracy enthusiasts have dissected every facet of this case, suggesting a range of alternate scenarios. Some theories are grounded in known facts, while others venture into eerie and imaginative theories. We'll now delve into the most prominent theories that have emerged, each attempting to answer the central riddles. How did Elisa get to the roof? And what caused her bizarre behaviour and ultimate death? Right from the start, plenty of people suspected that Elisa Lam was the victim of foul play. It's not hard to see why. The idea of a woman being stalked in a rundown hotel and meeting a grisly end sparks thoughts of criminal wrongdoing. One early theory was that someone at the hotel, perhaps a staff member, harmed Elisa. Online sleuths posited that a hotel employee could have used a staff key to access restricted areas like the roof without triggering alarms, and might have had the opportunity to confront Elisa, harm her, and dispose of her body in the tank. This theory was partly fueled by the elevator video. Some viewers felt Elisa's frightened behaviour indicated she was hiding from a real person who intended to do her harm. If that person was a hotel worker, they might have known about the camera's blind spots, or even edited the footage, hence the alleged missing minute. The cover-up subset of this theory suggests that either the hotel or the police, or both, deliberately obscured evidence, for instance, by delaying release of the autopsy report or not publicising all the security footage to avoid liability or scandal. It didn't help that the CECIL Hotel had a less than stellar record of safety, and one could argue they might want to avoid further bad press. However, no hard evidence of a cover-up has ever surfaced, and hotel management, as well as LAPD, vehemently deny any impropriety. Lawsuits filed by Elisa's family accusing the hotel of negligence were dismissed by the court, with the judge noting that there was no reasonable way the hotel could have foreseen someone getting into a water tank. Another angle on foul play centred on unknown predators. Some wondered if Elisa might have encountered a dangerous person in or around the hotel. A random perpetrator, such as a transient from Skid Row, or a fellow guest, who then chased her, resulting in the elevator behaviour and eventually killed her on the roof. Yet, this scenario faces the same hurdle: lack of evidence, no signs of struggle, assault, or DNA from anyone else were found, and it would have been quite difficult for a murderer to force Elisa up the fire escape and into the tank without leaving behind some trace or being spotted. Moreover, the difficulty of climbing to and into the tanks suggests that doing so while controlling a victim would be highly improbable. Given the CECIL Hotel's gruesome lore, it's no surprise that paranormal theories gain traction. These range from the straightforward Elisa was haunted or possessed by one of the hotel's many restless spirits, to the elaborate Elisa inadvertently summoned a supernatural force by playing the occult elevator game. In the Netflix documentary Crime Scene, former CECIL manager Amy Price acknowledged the hotel's morbid atmosphere, saying she often wondered if there was any room in which nobody had died. The sheer volume of deaths on the property has led some to speculate that the CECIL is haunted by ghosts of suicide and murder victims. Could Elisa have been influenced by such a presence? Perhaps the reason she appeared to talk to someone unseen in the elevator was because she was literally seeing something others could not. Believers point to her hand movements and the way she seems to hide in a corner as evidence that she was interacting with a spirit or demonic entity. Fueling this, ghost hunter Zach Bagans claimed that during his paranormal investigation of the CECIL, he heard of rumours that Richard Ramirez had performed satanic rituals on the roof in the 1980s, possibly darkening the site. If one buys into these stories, Elisa's death might appear less like an accident and more like a classic haunted hotel tale. The elevator game theory is a modern twist on the paranormal angle. The game, originating from a Korean urban legend, instructs a person to ride an elevator alone, pressing a specific sequence of floor buttons. If done correctly, the legend says, a portal will open to another dimension and a female spirit might enter at the 5th floor. Fans of this theory have painstakingly matched Elisa's observed button presses to the ritual steps. They imagine that Elisa, perhaps as a thrill or dare, attempted the elevator game, and in doing so invited a malevolent, otherworldly force, or transported herself to a kind of twilight zone. In this supernatural scenario, Elisa's erratic movements could be attributed to battling an entity or disorientation from slipping between worlds, and her ending up in the water tank might be seen as a consequence of crossing into a dangerous supernatural realm. It's a highly speculative idea with no evidence to support it, essentially a creepypasta come to life, but it gained popularity online because it offered an almost metaphorical explanation. Elisa vanished from our reality by entering the elevator and never truly came back down to Earth. Paranormal theories, while intriguing to some, are of course not verifiable. Skeptics point out that any perceived ghostly influence can be better explained by Elisa's mental health. Hallucinations induced by psychosis could certainly make her think she was seeing ghosts or being possessed, without any actual spirits being involved. Nonetheless, the ghost story angle has become an inseparable part of the Elisa Lam lore. Some theories don't involve ghosts or explicit foul play, but rather elaborate conspiracies or uncanny coincidences that people suspect can be purely accidental. One such theory emerged when amateur sleuths noticed a startling fact. At the same time as Elisa's disappearance and discovery, there was a tuberculosis outbreak happening among the homeless population on Skid Row, near the hotel. Even more uncanny, the TB diagnostic test used in that outbreak was called LAM Elisa, an acronym. The name LAM Elisa was enough to send conspiracy-minded folks into overdrive. Was it just a bizarre coincidence? Or could Elisa Lam's case somehow be connected to a tuberculosis experiment or cover-up? Some speculated that Elisa, who was studying at UBC, a university with a renowned tuberculosis research centre, might have been an unwitting carrier of a new TB strain, a biological weapon of sorts. In this theory, her death and the video could have been staged to draw attention away from a planned TB outbreak, or to hide that she was deliberately infected. Alternatively, others mused that perhaps Elisa never existed at all, except a code name for the outbreak response. There is no evidence Elisa was ever involved with TB research, nor that she was sick with TB. The autopsy would presumably have noted signs of disease if so. Public health officials confirmed the timing of the outbreak was coincidental, and Lam Elisa is a standard term unrelated to the victim. Still, this name match was enough to keep this conspiracy alive in the bowels of the internet. Another strange parallel that has fueled theories is the similarity of Elisa's death to the plot of a 2005 horror film called Dark Water. In that movie, itself a remake of an earlier Japanese film, a young woman living in a dilapidated building dies in a rooftop water tank, and the residents notice black, foul water coming from the faucets. The film even includes a broken elevator and a mother desperately trying to figure out what happened to her daughter. In Dark Water, the girl's body is discovered when someone investigates the water supply, an almost point-for-point match with Elisa's story, down to the grim details of residents unknowingly drinking contaminated water for days. Elisa was also wearing a red top in the elevator video, just as a character in the film wears a notable red coat. The parallels seem too many for some to accept as coincidence. Thus was born the theory that perhaps someone, or Elisa herself, was intentionally recreating the dark water scenario. Could a copycat killer have been inspired by the film and orchestrated Elisa's death to mirror it? Or, in a metaphysical sense, was Elisa's fate an example of life imitating art in a disturbingly literal way? While intriguing, there's no actual evidence connecting Elisa's case to the film beyond coincidence. Elisa herself likely never saw Dark Waters. Friends and family never mentioned it, and it wasn't a hugely prominent movie. Nevertheless, the Dark Water theory gets folded into arguments that something more scripted or conspiratorial was at play, as if fate or design put Elisa in that tank, not mere happenstance. There are those who question if Elisa's death was the result of some experiment or government plot, given its high strangeness. However, no credible information has ever supported such claims. The hotel wasn't owned by any secretive organisation, just low-budget hoteliers, and Elisa was not a person of interest to any government agency. Over time, most of these conspiracy theories have been debunked or lost steam, but they underscore how desperate people were to find meaning in a tragedy that felt senseless. Each theory emerged from the gaps in knowledge, the few minutes of video that made no sense, the question of how she got onto the roof, the coincidence of the TB test name, and tried to fill those gaps with a narrative that felt satisfying, whether or not it was grounded in reality. From the moment the elevator footage hit YouTube, the internet's fascination with the Elisa Lam case exploded. Thousands of self-appointed web sleuths across Reddit, YouTube, and web forums began poring over every detail, determined to solve the mystery. The case became a crowdsourced investigation, but also, at times, a digital witch hunt. In the absence of clear answers, myths and misinformation flourished. Elisa's story took on a life of its own in cyberspace, evolving into a modern ghost story that infiltrated popular culture. One of the most troubling outcomes of the online frenzy was the targeting of an innocent individual as a suspect. In 2013, a death metal musician from Mexico named Pablo Vergara, stage name Morbid, found himself accused by internet detectives who were hunting for Elisa's killer. The only evidence against him was circumstantial and rooted in timing and aesthetic. Vergara had stayed at the CECIL Hotel in 2012, a year before Elisa, and his music and online videos often featured dark, violent imagery. In one of his YouTube uploads, posted shortly after Elisa's death, Morbid had a song titled "Died in Pain," which showed a girl being chased and alluded to death. In another, he included a brief reference to the Black Dahlia case, which, as we know, is loosely connected to the CECIL Hotel lore. These artistic expressions were enough for some internet commenters to leap to a shocking accusation that Vergara had murdered Elisa Lam as part of some twisted ritual and was now taunting the world by inserting clues into its videos. The theory was completely baseless. In reality, Pablo Vergara was in Mexico at the time of Elisa's disappearance, with proof of his whereabouts. He had never met Elisa Lam. Nonetheless, the rumours spread on social media and forums. Vergara became the target of relentless online harassment and even death threats as the conspiracy gained traction. He later recounted how this false accusation drove him into a deep depression and even to a suicide attempt. Eventually, the truth prevailed. Authorities never considered him a serious suspect after confirming his alibi, and the online sleuth community moved on from the morbid did it theory. But the damage was done. Vergara's experience stands as a cautionary tale about the dangers of trial by internet. Elisa's own online presence also fed the mystery. After her death, some noticed that her Tumblr blog kept updating for months. New entries continued to appear, leading to speculation that maybe Elisa was still alive somewhere, or that someone had hacked into her accounts. The more logical explanation was that Elisa had set up a queue of future Tumblr posts, a feature that publishes scheduled posts automatically. Indeed, it's believed she had arranged for posts in advance. And with her phone missing, it was not found with her body or in her room. It's likely the updates were simply the queue running its course. Still, the effect of a ghost blog added to Elisa's mysterious death on the internet. Followers read her queued posts, often philosophical or melancholy in tone, as if they were posthumous messages from beyond the grave, searching them for hidden meaning or foreshadowing. The cultural impact of Elisa Lam's story has been immense. It's often cited alongside classics like The Black Dahlia or Jack the Ripper in lists of baffling unsolved mysteries, even though, technically, the case was solved to the satisfaction of law enforcement. There is something about Elisa's story that resonates as a modern urban legend. A young woman travels alone, stays in a creepy hotel with a haunted pedigree, encounters unseen dangers, and dies a mysterious death that many believe defies logical explanation. It's a story tailor-made for the internet age, inviting anyone with a Wi-Fi connection to become a detective or storyteller, and it has undoubtedly changed the CECIL Hotel forever. The hotel closed for several years, in part due to its reputation, and has since been rebranded as affordable housing. But it remains a morbid tourist attraction for the curious. People still gather outside to snap photos of its facade, aware that it was a setting of Elisa's final chapter.
Starting a business can be overwhelming. You're juggling multiple roles: designer, marketer, logistics manager, all while bringing your vision to life. But for millions of businesses, Shopify is the ultimate partner. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. From household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. Build a stunning online store with Shopify's ready-to-use templates. Boost content with AI-powered product descriptions, page headlines, and enhanced photography. Marketing is easy with built-in tools for email and social media campaigns. Plus, Shopify simplifies everything from inventory to shipping and returns. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try. Shopify.com/try.
The story of Elisa Lam endures because it sits at the intersection of fact and mystery. Officially, we have an answer: accidental drowning. Yet the case still feels unsolved to so many. In the years since, every new piece of information, from the release of the full coroner's report to interviews with Elisa's family, has added context, but not necessarily closure. We know who, what, when, and where. The hardest part is the why. Why did a promising young woman's life unravel in such a surreal, solitary way? Why in that hotel, of all places, at that moment in time? These are the imponderables that keep Elisa's memory alive and her case in the public eye. In the end, Elisa Lam's story is a sombre, cautionary tale. It's a tale of a vibrant mind struggling with darkness, of society's fascination with the macabre, and of the line between reality and the narratives we create. Whether one believes the simple truth of a tragic accident or prefers to sift through supernatural possibilities, Elisa's fate reminds us of the very real risks of unchecked mental illness and the need to find meaning in the unexplained. The case of Elisa Lam continues to captivate and disturb, precisely because it forces us to confront mysteries that may never be fully solved. In a hotel that has seen too many deathly secrets, a young woman became one more, and the world cannot seem to let go. So there we have it, Elisa Lam's case. It's so intriguing and also extremely sad. If you've got any thoughts on it, come and join us on the Obscurata discussion group. I want to say thank you to Rog for fact-checking and editing. And if you're into the paranormal, we do another podcast called The Whispering Woods, and that's hosted with my 15-year-old son. And that's it from me today. And as always, thank you for listening. Until next time, stay curious and keep the lights on, just in case.
Starting a business can be overwhelming. You're juggling multiple roles: designer, marketer, logistics manager, all while bringing your vision to life. But for millions of businesses, Shopify is the ultimate partner. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. From household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. Build a stunning online store with Shopify's ready-to-use templates. Boost content with AI-powered product descriptions, page headlines, and enhanced photography. Marketing is easy with built-in tools for email and social media campaigns. Plus, Shopify simplifies everything from inventory to shipping and returns. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try. Shopify.com/try.